if you're new here, my name's Lottie. I just wanted to start off a weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday. I'm about to go into the office. It is 8:20, so I need to leave in like 10 minutes. But I just wanted to do a quick little intro for this vlog. My hair is in a banana clip, so I'm hoping it's giving cute like 80s, 90s vibes and not like I didn't feel like doing my hair vibes, but I digress. So I wanted to pick a theme for my reading vlog and I landed on reading other booktubers 5-star reads. This is actually a prompt that I pulled in my TBR jar picks my August reads video. And the book that I chose for that prompt was Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna.
This book is about two girls named Kate Malarkey and Tully Hart. It all begins in the summer of 1974. Kate is coming to terms with her being an 8th grade nobody, but then, to her amazement, the coolest girl in the world moves in across the street and wants to be her friend. On the surface, they're as opposite as two people can be, but they make a pact to be best friends for life, and so begins Firefly Lane. This book spans more than 3 decades and is the poignant and powerful story of two women and the friendship that becomes the bulkhead of their lives.
So that is the first book that we're going to be reading in this reading vlog. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna was Sarah Caroli's 5-star read.
I gave this book 5 stars. I've been thinking about it since I read it. It is so good. The way that she depicts female friendships is just like chef's kiss.
I'm starting out with this one. I'm about a third of the way through already. Actually, I started it over the weekend and I'm hoping to finish it like today and tomorrow. It's like close to 500 pages, so it's just requiring a little more time and focus from me. I'm loving this. Like, loving this. I actually filmed a few clips yesterday on Sunday just talking about how much I was liking it and stuff, so I'll insert those. Hi guys, it is Sunday and I'm just out on my balcony reading Firefly Lane. I am on chapter 8 right now, so still pretty early in the book. I'm like 18% of the way through. I'm just loving seeing the relationship between Kate and Tully progress and evolve. Their seasons of being closer and further apart and like yearning to understand each other, but like also just being inherently different but still loving each other. It's just like already such a beautiful story. The writing is just so bingeable even though it's a long book. I'm just loving it. I wanted to give an update. Like, it's so good. I feel like I've been feeling just like a little bit slumpy lately, and not like really slumpy, but more so just that like I'm having a hard time convincing myself to pick up my book. But with this book, when I pick it up, I'm immediately like locked back in. I'm like, why was I on TikTok for an hour instead of reading my book this whole time? But I honestly want to like stop yapping so I can get back to reading. And this book is third person. At first I thought it was gonna like alternate chapters between the two girls, but it gets integrated pretty quickly where there's like stuff happening with both of the girls throughout each of the chapters. But there's a lot of great dialogue too, and it does a nice job balancing like third person descriptions of like the feelings that the girls are feeling and the thoughts that they're having, as well as dialogue. So anyways, okay, I want to go back to reading, so I'll see you guys later. But now the two main characters in this book are a few years post-grad, so they're around my age, which is a really fun age to follow them at. We met them when they were like 12, and I think it's just kind of the story of their lives, so I'm excited to keep reading this one. I'm really liking it. It's my first ever Kristen Hanna book, which I think this was a good pick for my first ever Kristen Hanna book. I'm also just now realizing that I feel like the font on this spine is giving folklore. Like, am I wrong? That's so folklore. Anyway, I am loving this one. I actually got this one on Libby as well. I had it on hold for a while and then I just ended up buying it because I wanted to read it sooner, and then my hold actually came in. And also there's a Netflix show for this book, so I'm really excited to watch that at some point. I'm just loving this book so far. I wanted to update you guys on that, and that is the theme of our reading vlog today. But I'm excited to hopefully find some 5-star reads in this video. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna head to the office, but I will check in with you guys again very soon on how my reading progress is going. One thing I do love about the office is the free matcha, I must admit. It's so good.
Hi friends, I am back from work and I'm using my microphone for this clip. I know I wasn't using it for the intro, so I figured I would remedy that and give you some good audio. It is 5:05 p.m. I will give some updates on how I'm liking the book since I didn't have a ton of time to do that this morning. I am liking how Firefly Lane is third person. When I first started reading, I thought, okay, also let's back up. Let me go get the actual book also. Hold on. Also, don't we love when I get home from the office, immediately I'm putting comfy clothes on. People who get home from the office and don't immediately get cozy, like, kind of scare me. That is like my first priority the moment I get home. Anyway, here's the book. I think what I'm liking most about this book so far is that it talks about friendship in a really real way. It really touches on like the tougher parts of female friendship, like jealousy and comparison, but it also really celebrates the beautiful parts of female friendship, like loyalty and having someone you can trust and depend on. And so I really like that it kind of goes back and forth and like shows the highs and the lows, and I feel like it does it in a really realistic way. Like, it feels really true. My point about the third person though is that I think it makes the book more fast-paced. Throughout each chapter it will kind of follow both of the girls, so you'll get a peek into how both are feeling about things, and I like kind of getting the immediate feelings or dialogue or point of view from both girls in the moments where they're together. Those are my thoughts. I'm gonna get back to reading instead of yapping so that we can make some progress. I don't think I'll be able to finish it tonight just because it's a really long book. Who knows? We'll see. Hi guys, I wanted to give you an update because it has been about almost exactly an hour. I am now on part 4, which I'm only 56% of the way through the book, and I'm on the last part. So I'm curious about the pacing. Part 3 kind of felt a little like montage-y, which is part of the reason I feel like it was short. It kind of was just like the monotony of life, and like the years were passing and like the girls were doing their thing. So I think there's gonna have to be some reason to kind of break up the monotony in part 4, whatever that might be.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
We still have quite a ways to go, but I'm proud of the progress I've made, and we'll just keep reading. Hello friends, it is now 8:30 and I'm breaking for dinner. I've decided I was gonna break like an hour ago and then I just didn't want to stop reading. So I'm forcing myself now because the sun is going down and I'm like, okay, well, that's my cue. I made it to chapter 30, so I'm on page 379. I'm gonna wind down for the evening, close all the blinds, make some dinner, charge my Kindle, take off my makeup, all that stuff, and then hopefully just keep reading after dinner. I really just want to keep reading now. Oh, also I'm doing laundry, so switching my laundry. I just had some administrative work to take care of, if you will. I'm proud of page 379. So I'm hoping I might be able to finish it tonight, but I still think that's a little ambitious. So we'll see. Either way, I'll keep you posted. I am all done with my dinner break. So we still have, according to my Kindle, 2 hours about left in the book. I wanted to show you, I got one of these little stands for my Kindle and I got a remote. So I have the ultimate cozy vibes and I'm just about to lock in. I wanted to say, I'm still loving the book. It's inching towards 5 stars with like every break that I take. And I think also having the time to process it really helps me feel like I'm giving it a more fair rating. Just sitting on it for a minute really helps me realize like if it's stuck with me or not. And even just while I was like eating dinner and taking my like 20-minute break from reading, I was just thinking so much about the book. I wasn't like clamoring to get back on my phone and go on TikTok. I just was thinking about the book and wanting to keep reading. That bodes well for the star rating, I will say. Another thing I wanted to say about this book, it's not a spoiler, but if you want to go in more blind, then I'll put a time on the screen you can skip to. The story is kind of about life choices. You kind of have these two friends who one of them is like extremely career oriented and one just kind of wants to be a mom and wants to like not be criticized for that. And you kind of have like two extremes in that sense. And I think like being a woman, it can be really hard to feel like you can play the middle in that case, that you have to pick one of these extremes. And I think this book is doing a really good job kind of showing how that can play out in either way and acknowledging that it is really hard to play the middle, and that there are like challenges and sacrifices that come with like each path that you take, and kind of exploring that, and then the dynamic of these two kind of women who have chosen different paths and their continued friendship, and like how those diverged paths affect their friendship today, because there's like less in common, obviously. There's just like natural friction that comes with that, I guess, in their friendship, and that's been really interesting to watch as well. I think if you're someone who is thinking about like motherhood, this could be a really great read as well. It's a story that can be frustrating at times, but also really beautiful, and I see myself in a lot of both of the women in this book, and that's been a really fun and interesting thing as well. I don't feel like I'm so much like one or the other, and so I've really enjoyed kind of like getting the perspectives of both. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to reading. Tears are being shed. I think it's gonna end soon. I also feel like I remember telling you guys that there's like 47 chapters or 49, and I think I'm on like 45. So I'm definitely, I think, under an hour at this point, so I'm finishing it. But tears are being shed, so I had to like stop and start recording. I just wanted to have raw reactions, but also Anders is gonna walk in literally any minute. So lots going on, but I'm pretty unwell, I will say. In like a good book sad way, but like it's a tearjerker for sure. Hello. My book is really sad.
I thought you were asleep when I first opened the door. I couldn't tell.
No, I was just in here crying. I'm fine. But on another level, I'm not fine. As you can tell, things got emotional. It's 11:08 and I have finished Firefly Lane. I will tell you more about it tomorrow, but I needed to tell you that I finished it. And I'm very unwell. I need to process what I just read, but just wanted to give you the update, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna debrief you on like all my thoughts when I get home from work, because I can't do it at 7:53 a.m. But like, oh my gosh, the more I think about this book, like I think it's gonna have to be 5 stars. Like there's just no way it's not. I wanna go ahead and choose another read to start, but I really don't know what I wanna start next. So we'll do a whole debate and debacle when I get home. This is my lovely breakfast. I'm obsessed with these. They're just so easy, especially like on office mornings. I'm just like grab and go, you know? I'm now realizing I don't have the microphone. I'm sorry if the audio is all over the place in this vlog. You're just gonna have to bear with me. It is what it is. The dryer is going, I'm sure you can hear. That is my morning update, and we'll see you guys after work.
I got home from work a little bit ago and did some tabbing up of Firefly Lane. I was luckily still able to access all of my highlights and notes on the Kindle version of the book, the ebook, even though I returned it last night and was worried I wasn't going to be able to see them anymore. They were saved. So anyway, I just went through and did that. I do not know what book to read next, guys. Like, I've really been thinking about this all day today, like in the back of my head. Basically, I compiled a big list in my notes app of different books that my favorite booktubers have rated 5 stars. The one that I feel like I should read is The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. This is Haley Pham's 5-star read. Definitely want to read this one. That is an option. I just don't know if that's like what I'm in the mood for. The next book I have on my list is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This was rated 5 stars by Rachel Catherine, and I love her videos and her vlogs. Chandler also gave this one 5 stars actually, so we'd have 2 people. Oh, and Heather. Oh, Heather gave it 6 out of 5 stars. Okay, so the next book on my list that is a contender is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but this is a recent 5-star read from Allie Goodwin. I really like her videos as well. I thought it could be fun to throw that one in. Also, it looks like Destiny rated that one 5 stars, but she did read it 3 years ago. I think my hesitation with this one is that I feel like I want to read it in the fall. The next one on my list is The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery, but this is by Gabrielle Zevin, and this is 5 stars from Katie Wittrick recently. She recently read this and gave it 5 stars and was gushing about it. I also have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, which Shaughnessy gave 5 stars. So this one's also on my physical TBR, and I want to read this one soon. Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, which Faith's Reading Things gave 5 stars recently. I think a ton of people have given that one 5 stars, and I have it on Libby. It's supposed to come in like any day. I'm 3rd in line and there's 4 copies in use. So I just need some people to finish reading it so that I can read it. I literally placed this hold in February. So I would love to read that one for this video. I just don't know if I'm gonna get it from Libby, so. Let's continue this reading vlog. It has been quite a few days. I wanted to film and execute this vlog before I went on vacation last week, but I just ran out of time balancing my corporate job with just spending time with friends and family, keeping things organized in my personal life, and now doing YouTube videos again and editing them. Editing takes so long. I don't think people realize how long editing videos takes. Sometimes I just underestimate how much time I'm gonna have to do something. So I basically just kind of paused, and then I went on vacation and I did a whole reading with me on vacation vlog, so definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. And now that I'm back from vacation, we're gonna resume the concept of this vlog. It is about 7:30, so I had a full work day today. I did work from home though, but had a really busy day, and now I am finally sitting down to read. Anders has a work dinner tonight, so he's probably not gonna be home for another like 2 hours, so I thought it'd be a great time to just chill out and start a new book. So the next book we're gonna be reading for this vlog is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I'm gonna be reading this on my Kindle because I'd placed a Libby hold for it and it came in. It actually came in while I was at the beach last week, so I immediately was like, let's go ahead and borrow that. I thought it was perfect timing for this vlog also because I recently saw Faith's Reading Things read this and give it 5 stars.
This was just the most adorable little book I think I've ever read. This is easily going to be a new 5-star read for me.
And that got me really excited to read it. I really love Faith's videos. I will link her channel down below if you want to check it out. She really loved this book, so I'm really excited to see what I think. I've actually never read anything from Lynn Painter. Wait, I take that back. This is not my first Lynn Painter book. I read The Do-Over last year on Valentine's Day last year, which is a really fun themed read because The Do-Over is basically a book where the character is stuck in Valentine's Day. Like every day she wakes up and Valentine's Day starts over. So that's a really fun book and a great read, but I would definitely wait and read that one in February. But I remember really liking that one, and it was really fast paced and like quick to get through. And it was just cute and had a lot of personality. I'm a sucker for a book that I feel like has personality, whatever that means. I feel like what it really more so bubbles down to is that the author has a strong voice and brings that to life through their characters, and something about the voice is like unique or especially charming to me in some way. That's the best way I can kind of articulate what I mean by that. I'm really excited to read Better Than the Movies. I've heard so many good things about this one for so long. I think technically this is a better read for like the April-May timeframe. I think that this takes place towards the end of the school year for some high schoolers. And I just always try, if I can, to kind of like match up the timeline of a book with like the time of year that I'm reading it, if I can. Obviously, I don't think it's a huge deal with this book. I'm also excited to read this one because the second book in this series, called Nothing Like the Movies, comes out in September. So if I really am obsessed with this book, I'm sure I'll want to read the next one. I'm going to quickly read the Goodreads description so I can get a sense of what the book's about. A hopeless romantic teen attempts to secure a happily ever after moment with her forever crush, but finds herself reluctantly drawn to the boy next door. Okay, so it's giving love triangle. There's like the aloof boy next door neighbor who the main girl thinks that she hates, but she really loves him. And then there's the like dreamy boy she's had a crush on for forever who moved away and like now came back to town and is like friends with her neighbor. Keys her in to get to know her actual crush, but then she's gonna realize that she actually loves her neighbor. So I'm gonna stop talking and start reading. That Liz likes, this Michael kid, he's blonde. Guys, stop making the love interest blonde. Something about a blonde man. There are exceptions for sure. That was a jump scare, but he's not endgame, I don't think. So no worries. Also, this book is really cute. It seems like at the beginning of each chapter, there's a quote from a famous rom-com. So I'm liking that too. I will say this book has a lot of like modern slang. Like we've used the term the ick. We've used the term I have tea. It doesn't bother me really at all. I know some people like really don't like it, but I don't care in the slightest. I'm like, no, she's real for that, you know? But yeah, I'm gonna get back to reading. I wanted to give you an update. So it's been a couple days and I'm about halfway through Better Than the Movies. I'm reading a little bit slow and I feel like I'm not even reading slow. I've had a really busy work week and that's just the reality of things. So that contributes in ways that like are unexpected because when I have a really busy day at work, I don't like immediately want to like start reading when I'm done working. I want to like lay and rot. Whereas when I have like a more low stress work day, I just feel like I have better mental health days on days where I'm less stressed in general. And then I'm able to just be like, okay, I'm going to read now. And so I just want to be transparent that it's been like 2 days and I'm like halfway through the book. So we're just doing the best we can. And that's what matters most. Also, if you're seeing any of these things, this is my heating pad. I also didn't completely unmake my bed because I got new pillow inserts for these pillows and they're so like, I don't know. They're perfect. They're exactly what I wanted. Those are my updates. Let me give you book updates now. I have 3 minutes left in this chapter. Let me finish this chapter real quick and then I'll give you book updates. I finished my chapter and I'm officially 50% of the way through the book. Here are a few non-spoiler updates about my reading and my thoughts about this book. The chapters are really long. So if you're someone who is like trying to get back into reading, this maybe isn't the best one to start with just because if you have a really short attention span, one of the chapters took me like 40 plus minutes to read. This book references a lot of like movies and music for inspiration, which is really fun and cool, especially when I feel like I know the reference. I enjoy it so much more. But when I don't know the reference, I feel kind of left out. But I will say I feel like some of the rom-coms referenced in this book are ones that like my mom knows really well, whether she loves them or not. Like they're just like more her generation's rom-coms. And it makes sense because our main character in this book, this isn't really a spoiler because you find this out in like the first chapter, but Liz's mom passed away and she loved rom-coms. That's one way that Liz like stays close or like feels close to her mom is by rewatching her old favorite rom-com movies. And so it does make sense that like Liz's favorite ones are the ones that her mom really loved, but I just feel like for me as like a millennial Gen Z cusper, I haven't read a lot of these ones that are being referenced. Okay, here are all of the movies that have been mentioned. Bridget Jones's Diary, which I haven't seen. Notting Hill, which I haven't seen. When Harry Met Sally, I have seen. You've Got Mail, I haven't seen. Pretty Woman, I haven't seen. Like there are a lot of the 90s ones, but I just wish I would have seen this list before and maybe had a little fun rom-com marathon week where I watched like some of these ones I've been meaning to watch for forever. I feel like it would have enhanced my reading experience to understand some of those references or moments. It's not just like the quotes at the beginning of the chapter. Like if it was just the quotes at the beginning of the chapter, I wouldn't care, but it'll reference like certain moments and compare what's happening in real life to that. And so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, sure. I feel like I've seen so many rom-coms that I was surprised in feeling this way, but at the same time, the ones I haven't seen that are being referenced are like classics. So I'm not saying that I'm like in the right here. I am really liking the book. I feel like our main character Liz though is like so delusional. Liz is employing the help of her neighbor Wes and they're like trying to conspire to get this guy Michael to like Liz. Obviously from the get-go, like we know that Liz is gonna end up with Wes. Like come on, like that's so obviously happening. I feel like Liz is just in like such denial of like how obvious it is that Wes is like the guy for her. This guy Michael just like is so, I think, not into her, and she's just like blissfully unaware. It's honestly cute. We've all been there, girl. Like, she's just like in delusion land, but it's like a little frustrating because I'm like, girl, Wes is right there, and I really love Wes. We only get Liz's POV. It doesn't alternate or anything, so it is just Liz's story that she's telling. So I'm liking it. I'm not like obsessed with this book. I can definitely see how people really love it. I'll be interested to see how the second half of the book goes, but I'm just gonna keep reading and I'll keep you guys posted. Hi guys, it is 10:10 p.m. and I have about an hour left of the book. I'm on page 293. I think I have like 60-ish pages left. I had my dinner and I just kind of have kept reading throughout the night, and I'm just feeling like finishing my book tonight, so that's what I've decided to do. I don't know, I feel like with this plot, it's kind of been done before, and so that's why I also am feeling kind of like meh. And I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Duff, but it's kind of giving the plotline of that a little bit, which really cute concept, really cute movie, really cute book. But I guess I just kind of feel like this like trope has been played out for me a lot, and there's not a lot of like creative ways to do it. Like, I kind of feel like I know exactly what's going to happen in the last 60 pages of this book, so I'm kind of just trying to get through it. I feel bad that I'm not like loving this one as much as some others have loved it. I definitely can see the merit, and I think if I'd read this sooner or at like a different time in my life, it definitely would have hit different. The more I read, the more I realize how much like when you read a book matters in terms of how much you're going to like it, because I think that this is an excellent young adult romance, and I think if I'd read this in high school, I would have been obsessed. Even in college, I think I really would have liked it. I just think at this point in my reading journey, I'm just a little bit bored because it feels a little bit predictable to me. Maybe I'll be surprised. So I'll come back and update you guys in an hour when I finish, but I'm gonna get back to reading. Finished the book. It is 11:09. I've decided my new strategy is that I need to sleep on my ratings. What I'm thinking right now is somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. I thought this book was really cute. I think it just was so hyped up that I thought it was just going to be something that I'd never read before. And I think I was just a little bit disappointed that I felt like it was a bit predictable. And at the end of the day, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I thought it was a really cute book. I definitely see the merit in why someone would give it a high rating. Maybe it was just the wrong time or just where I'm at in my reading journey. Anyways, I think that's a wrap on Better Than the Movies. It was really cute, guys. Don't get me wrong. I had a good time. Guys, it's been a couple days and it's time to read our next book for this vlog. I'm really excited about the next 5-star recommendation, and that is The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. I showed this book in a recent book haul, but I've been talking about this book for like the past month and I definitely wanted to squeeze it in, so I thought this would be the perfect video to incorporate it in. This book was rated 5 stars by booktuber Haley Pham. I'm sure a lot of you are probably familiar with her videos. She's really popular on booktube and just like YouTube in general. She makes great videos, and she recently posted a video where she was talking about this book again, and she was saying, I'm pretty sure this is like one of her favorite books of all time.
Ministry of Time, which I think is one of my favorite books of the entire year so far. This book is not committing to any one genre. It's a science fiction, but not all the way. It's a literary fiction, but not all the way. It's a romance, but not all the way. But all of those things combined has made it my favorite book of all time.
So extremely high review and marks from Haley. This book is a really fun and cool concept. I have read the first chapter. Basically, if you've missed me talking about this book a bunch over the past month, it is set in the near future, and our main character is a civil servant, and we kind of call her the Bridge, which I'll explain why in a second. But I'm pretty sure that her name is like never said in the book, which I think is gonna annoy me, but I'll let you guys know. She's offered the salary of her dreams to work on a top secret government project with the Ministry of Time. It's like government sanctioned exploration of time travel. Our main character gets hired where she's gonna be like a bridge to someone who has traveled from the past to the current day. And so she's supposed to help assimilate that person to the current day and explain things to them like washing machines and Spotify and the quote collapse of the British Empire. Anyway, it seems like a lot of cool themes and like good opportunities for comedic relief, but also great opportunities for like deeper themes that are going to be interesting to explore. Basically, I think this story focuses on our specific bridge, the main narrator of the story, and then her expat known as Commander Gore, but they also call him 1847 because I'm pretty sure they call all of the expats by the year that they were like abducted from, basically. Like I said, I've only read one chapter, so I am still getting my feet wet with the story, but I just wanted to kind of give you that update that I'm starting the Ministry of Time. I'm really excited to see what I think, and I'll keep you posted on all of my thoughts as I continue reading. I'm literally on page 13, but I wanted to tell you guys I really loved this like metaphor. I'm gonna highlight it. Our main character, woman, it's kind of annoying in the sense of like me vlogging, talking about her as a character in the story, like not having a name for her. But so far, it's not really bothering me that she doesn't have a name because she is the narrator. So she doesn't like refer to herself often. It's not a big deal. But basically our narrator and then her expat, they're just getting settled into their house that they're going to share. She says, "This is everything I remember about my earliest hours with him. We separated and spent the fading day bobbing shyly around each other like clots in a lava lamp," which I just thought that was such a good way to describe when you're sharing a space with someone, but you're kind of avoiding them. I never would have thought to say it like that, and I just thought that was really well done. I feel like every second or third page there's a new vocab word I'm having to look up. It's also probably because some words are more common in British lexicon than it is in the US. Anyways, this book is so good. I'm literally on page 13 and I'm like loving it so far. This is just such a unique premise and I'm immediately like very invested. So I'll be interested to see if my attention is kept well. It's just a fun time. Hey guys, it's 9 o'clock now and I want to get back to reading. I got a little bit into the book earlier, but honestly not too far. I ended up switching gears and working on editing actually this vlog for a while after work. It's always hard because I'm like trying to decide whether I should spend time filming to add to the vlog or editing so it'll be ready to go sooner. So I decided to go ahead and break it up and start editing. You probably don't care, but also I wanted to show you guys, if you see this hanging out with me while I'm reading, Anders got this for me for my birthday. It's a matcha latte squishmallow. So it's like matcha on the top. It's so cute and it's just my new favorite thing. It'll probably be hanging out in some of the clips. If you follow me on Instagram, you see I post matcha to my story a lot. That is my current hyperfixation. So I got some stuff to learn how to make it at home. So I've been doing that too, but I'm just really obsessed with my matcha. Anyways, that's my update. Let's read. It's about 10:45. I've been reading for like an hour and a half or so. I'm on page 100 and I made it to chapter 4. So the chapters are very long. I think there's only like 10 chapters in the whole book. Something to keep in mind if you're feeling a little slumpy. Could be a challenging one. So if you're in the mood for something that's a little bit more of a thinker, this is definitely not like a mindless read. This read is very demure, very mindful. The book is finally heating up a little bit, I feel like. But I was explaining the premise to Anders, and he was like,
so like, what's the point? Like, what's the ministry going to do? Why are they doing this experiment?
And I was like, it's a great question. I would love to know the answer. And our narrator also doesn't really know the answer. I think she does by the end of the story. She like references that she's telling the story like from the end. So it's kind of nice that we feel like we're learning with her / like are in the dark when she's in the dark. I like Commander Gore. He's like kind of grumpy, but he's also kind of sunshine. He's like both. It's really fun. So I'm enjoying it. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Anders. We're having couples reading night. I didn't get to read any today, so this is why the first update you're getting from me is at 10:05 p.m. But I'm excited to continue. So I'm on the same page I was on when we last checked in, which is 105. Hoping to read at least a chapter or two. These are really long chapters though, so just gonna get back to reading. Anders, would you like to share what you're reading?
11/22/63. It's a Stephen King book.
How are you liking it?
It's really good.
He's really liking it. He stayed up till 12:30 last night reading it against his better judgment. Mm-hmm. And we've got Miss Matcha here that Anders got for me. So I needed to stop talking and start reading.
She's perfect.
I've really been working on perfecting my at-home matcha recipe, and I think I'm getting there. I wouldn't claim to have perfected it yet, but this is one of my best ones yet. The next day, and I made quite a bit of progress on the Ministry of Time last night. I think I'm like 65% of the way through the book now. The writing is just beautiful, but it's not overdone. Like, she's not showy with it. It's in these like quiet moments when you're reading where you're like, oh, that was like a crazy metaphor, and I loved it. Oh, I really liked this one. The paperwork had started breeding in captivity, meaning that there was just like papers everywhere, but I just loved that writing and that description. I just thought it was so good and creative. I liked this one too. I couldn't write the email. My fingers seemed magnetically charged to repulse the keys of my laptop. I have felt like that before. I just wanted to give a few of those examples. Something else I'm really liking about this book is that our narrator kind of like comes in and will say things. Let me find an example. You're angry maybe that it could have been this callow. You think you would have seized the lever here, swung the tram over the empty track instead of forward towards the row of bound prisoners. So she kind of like will come in and be like, listen, I know, you're probably thinking I'm being an idiot, and I just really like that style. I think it's fun. So those are my thoughts a little more than halfway through the book. I'm hoping to finish it today, and we'll give my final review later. I finished it. What did I just read? I have finished The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley, and I have a lot of thoughts. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna rate it yet, but I'm leaning towards a 4-star. This book was funny, it was charming, it was thought-provoking. I think the concept of bringing people from the past to the future and getting to kind of see them assimilate to the current era was a really fun plot line, but it couldn't carry the plot as that being the entire story. I think the writing was brilliant, and I think that's where the author really shined with this book. I think the plot kind of devolved in the end in a way that really confused me, and I'll get a little bit more into that. There are some incredible quotes in here. The last page is like a mic drop. It was excellent. I really liked the summation of the story in the last like 2 pages. I thought that was really well done. I think my favorite things about this book were like the suspense, the humor, and the inspiration I found in it. One of the things I didn't love as much about this book was the romance. When I heard this book had kind of like a romance subplot, I was honestly kind of surprised because I didn't really pick up on that from the description of the book itself. But the romance part just like didn't really do it for me with this book. I loved Graham Gore. He was probably my favorite character in the whole book. Like, I thought he was really layered and well developed, more so than any of the other characters. He just had like this old man vibe about him. And so even though in my head I was trying to picture him as like a 34-year-old man, I was like, this man is 200 years old. I think I also just like didn't really feel the chemistry between the two of them. I will say this book has a lot of like slice of life elements, but it's not the entire book. Like I said, this is definitely a genre bending book. I'd say like the last 20% of this book turns much more into like action thriller, and the twist towards the end honestly confused me. I think I also just like wasn't that concerned with the mechanics of time travel and the plot towards the end, because we kind of get into a little bit of that, and I was just kind of like, you know what, that doesn't really matter. That's not the point of the story. I think if you're someone who can like get past some of the stuff that's common with time travel tropes, you should read this. But if you're someone who gets hung up on that stuff, you might get annoyed by some of the explanation. I'm also glad to knock another one off my August TBR, so feeling accomplished on that. And those are most of my thoughts on The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. And that was our third and final book for this reading vlog. I really enjoyed reading some of my favorite booktubers' favorite books. I was so glad to find a new 5-star read in this vlog with Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I read in today's vlog in the comments down below. And if you made it this far in the video, comment down below with a star emoji so I can know who made it to the end, because I know this is gonna be a really long vlog. Thank you all for watching. It means so much to me that you took the time out of your day to watch my video and made it all the way to the end. And I think that's all for today. I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye everyone.